Ladies and gentlemen, preseason week number 1 is in the books. And if you aren't just a little bit excited, what's wrong with you? We have a quarterback.
Do we?
We have a quarterback.
Maybe.
And we have a backup quarterback. And we got some other weapons. But we will talk about that next. Drop it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That was your boy Phil on the intro. I am Steve. We are Sans Dev tonight. It's time for our post-game recap. It's Monday, August 14th, and we had the preseason game for the Commanders on Friday. First sign of real football for this team, and it's exciting. I was excited. I think you can classify that some of us were overly excited. If you look at social media and Twitter and Facebook and the group chats, I know I was a little bit guilty of it. But, Phil, I think we as fans need a little bit of warm up too for the season, right? I think that's fair to say. You got to give the fans a little bit of leeway. We're just anxious.
We are, but it's interesting because we saw, if you were on social media during the game, immediately afterwards, as I assume a lot of the people who watch this podcast are, you saw a tale of two fan bases, half and the other half of the Commanders fan base.
True.
One half really excited. I understand a couple things we need to work on. We'll get into that in a little bit. But for the most part, it was a case of, hey, a lot of things look good here, and there's a lot of positives. The other half, I don't know what they were expecting. I guess they thought that Jesus Christ himself was going to play 22 different positions. I don't know. They were not happy, and everything's wrong, and this team's going to be a 4-win team and all this other stuff. And I'm really like MC Light said, I cram to understand you.
Yeah.
I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's funny because as time has gone on, that half either has faded back into the ether, or some of them may have had opinions change, or maybe just the positive outweighs the negative here. I don't know. But it was so weird watching. Like, there were people who were really like, oh my God, the sky is falling. It was like after the first set of offensive and defensive series, they were predicting we were draft picking in the top 3.
Yeah, that's a little much. I concur with you 100%. But
I was like, wait, come on.
Yeah, we're excited. We're living up to the hype. We're coming off a new ownership purchase, and we want a winner. So it's understood. I think as we have 2 more preseason games left. We have the Ravens coming up, and then I think the Bengals coming up for our final 2 games. So I think next game is going to be very telling. I think if that's a game you want to get a little more serious about, that's the game, because that's the dress rehearsal. So maybe the emotions we saw Friday night is what we should see for the Ravens game, because now it's like you've blown your wad. What else more can you get upset about? If the same things are going wrong, which we'll get into here in a minute, then maybe it's cause for some concern. But I digress. Let's just recap the stats real quick, like we always do in our post game breakdowns. Commanders won 17-15. Although scores really don't matter in the preseason. Although I would like to point out, I think the Ravens have won their last 25 preseason games. Some stupid number like that. I don't know if you're tracking that, but the Ravens have some stupid amount of consecutive preseason wins. And people are like, it doesn't really matter. But that's kind of impressive if you think about it. I don't want to, we could talk about the Ravens later, but time in possession, 28-25 for Washington, 31-35 for the Browns. So they had about, 3 extra minutes, 23 first downs for them, 17 for us. Third down conversions, we were 3 for 11. They were 7 for 14. Fourth downs, 1 for 1. They were 1 for 2. Total net yards, 276 for us, 374 for them. Rushing yards, we had 111. They had 117. Passing yards, we had 165. They had 257. Another thing you want to look at is penalties, because I think penalties are a good sign of discipline, shaking off the rust. We had 7 for 55. They had 5 for 39. So clearly that's something that I'm sure the coaches are harping on. We had no fumbles. We did have 2 turnovers through interceptions. So yeah, that's about it from a recap from statistical standpoint. So let's just start with the offense, Phil. Sam Howell, 9 for 12, 77 yards, 1 touchdown.
It looks like a very West Coast offense stat line to me.
It was. He opened up the game. He was getting the ball out very quickly, as we suspect is going to happen in the Eric Bieniemy West Coast offense, because you're relying on quick throws, pass or extensions of the runs. But he had a good drive to open up the game. He scrambled for a first down, if you remember. Line did great with pass protection, and he threw about a 15-yard out to John Bates, and he just completely dropped the ball. Ball was probably wet. I get it, but sticky hand Bates, I don't expect that. I don't expect him to drop that.
For 2 years, we have sat here and talked about, John Bates is a great blocker, but don't forget, he didn't drop a single pass in college.
I haven't looked up the stat. He probably has maybe 1 drop in his. What he played 2 years?
No, last year
or first year of playing.
It was not last year. Year before was so he's 2 years. He's going into his 3rd year.
Yeah,
he may have 1 drop. But damn, did he pick the wrong time to drop?
I know, especially with Sam Howell. It would have been a fantastic, because he was wide open. And then the first drive was just abysmal. Let's just be honest. There was that scramble by Sam, but Andrew Wiley had the holding penalty. Okay. Although Chick Hernandez, who butchered a lot of the names, called it.
He said it was Charles Leno.
Poor Charles Leno, man. Catching strays.
Can we time out for a second here?
Yeah.
I got to lecture our fan base. Chick Hernandez accidentally says Charles Leno when it's Andrew Wiley. And at least 2 of y'all sent wishes to Charles Leno's wife.
Yeah, not cool.
On Twitter.
Not cool.
Saying that you hope he suffers a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
What is wrong? First of all, you don't even tweet the man himself. You don't even DM. You DM his wife.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Y'all can go kick rocks.
Please.
Seriously.
If you are at week 1, come find me. I'd love to see what kind of a spineless beta bitch would do that. You're going to go talk. You want to talk shit on man, talk shit on man. Don't talk to his woman. Don't talk to his wife, mother of his children.
Straight up.
That woman's pregnant now.
Save that energy for the other team, actually. Save it for the opponent. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, we are too often shooting harsher shots at our own players instead of at other teams. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just had to get that one off my chest, because that royally ruined my night.
That was the first drive.
Damper on my night when I saw that.
It ended up being 3rd and 30 off a sack, and then we punted. Okay. Second time we got the ball, we held down Cleveland for the first drive. They also punted, but on our second drive, that's where once again Andrew Wiley had another rough series. That series wasn't even a minute; it was 52 seconds. 2 plays, -5 yards, and he had a holding in the end zone, second holding of the game, in the end of being a safety by default. So at that point, it's 2-0. It's a soccer score. It's a hockey score. And then we're all wondering, man, is the offense done? Because at that point, Cleveland they were missing 6 starters off their defensive front, off their defensive starters anyways. I don't think they pulled everyone from there who started the game. But then our third drive, we come out there and we run a professional drive. It was fantastic.
Adjustments.
10 plays, 80 yards. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. It ends up with a 26-yard shot to Jahan Dotson, who makes a phenomenal adjustment on the ball and goes right in for a touchdown. Like,
What's funny is that it's probably by far the worst ball Sam Howell threw that last night or Friday night.
Yeah, it was a
think
little
about it. Even his throwaways were where you'd want to throw the ball away.
Yeah.
And then there's drop balls. He did have the one catch that was ruled down, but somebody on Twitter, of course, would say this is an interception.
But I mean,
no, I did, and I'm like, why do you gotta phrase it like that? Because that really was more of a fumble. It's in the guy's hands. He's going down, and they stripped the ball out the receiver's hands. That's not on Howell, but why you gotta throw? Well, Howell almost threw an INT. Did
right.
he? He didn't throw an INT. The receiver almost lost the ball.
That's correct.
Let's emphasize that because that's what should be emphasized because that was a hell of a throw. He threw it between 3 defenders.
Yeah. Let's look at the touchdown pass very quickly here.
This is beautiful.
When they escape out of the pocket to the right. Howell working downfield. Jahan Dotson, a beautiful catch, sidesteps 2 tacklers and finds his way into the end zone.
One more time.
When they escape out of the pocket to the right. Howell working downfield. Jahan Dotson, a beautiful.
I mean, it was beautiful. Look at that pocket right there. And then he steps right up into it. Actually, doesn't step up. He stays flat. But look at that.
No, he just takes one step and he lofts it.
He launches it. Now, Leno was holding his block probably as long as he could. Leno was coming into him, but everyone else hits their assignment. Bates on the right-hand side hits his. I mean, Sam could have took the dump down here to the left, but he chose not to. It was a beautiful play.
Yeah, he's got 2 receivers open. By the way, keep that in mind. He's got 2 receivers open on that play. And go back to the beginning. I believe they only rushed 4, right? They said 5. Okay, yeah. So they got 6 men in coverage, and he's got 2 receivers open.
Yeah,
that's game. That's play calling, people.
It is, and you can clearly tell that Eric Bieniemy made some adjustments.
Absolutely,
he schemed what he needed to scheme up, and it was great. Didn't really get a whole lot of running from the starters from Robinson or from Gibson. Robinson was 3 for 16, Gibson was 2 for 7, but I still feel like Gibson's going to be more explosive in this offense as opposed to Brian Robinson. It's just me personally, and I just have a feeling. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a
Chris
feeling
Rodriguez looked fantastic, though. He was one of my guys to watch.
Our run game, we will run for 2,000 plus yards as a team this season, and no running back will have over 700 yards because it's going to be such a distribution. I shouldn't say more than 7. No, you're not going to have 1,000-yard rusher on this team. Not with Rodriguez. If he keeps looking the way he does, he's going to get a share of carries. Gibson's going to get his share of carries. Robinson's going to get his share of carries. So, I mean, Robinson with 3 carries for 16 yards. That's 5.3 a pop. That's what that's more than what you expect from a downhill grinded out kind of runner.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Jacoby Brissett. He had a 12-yard scramble. Let's take a quick replay of his 12-yard little scamper. I feel like at first he was moving kind of slow as molasses, reminding me of Carson Wentz running a read option. But then again, I look back watching the film, he didn't have to run that fast, so he kind of just trotted in. But at first I was like,
he was looking to. I think a lot of it was he was looking to throw it first.
This is the slowest run ever. So let's just watch this.
The backfield next to Brissett. Oh, he's got some room. Beats Maurice Hurst, and he is going to get into the end zone.
That's not even near Carson Wentz, dude. Come on now.
No, it wasn't. But look right there. I mean, the
That's
field
another beautiful pocket.
Yeah, the pocket's great. He steps up into it, pump fakes, and then creates that.
Everybody's covered. Look, 1, 2, 3 receivers. They're doing a flood. They're flooding the left side of the field, right? But that leaves the entire right side of the field open. And they gave him a lane to run.
his pump fake created a lot of room.
He's got some room.
Nothing.
Beats Maurice Hurst,
Filled
and he's
right
going
in.
to get in.
Jacoby, that's a smart veteran move. Couldn't ask for any more from that perspective. Really couldn't.
No.
Um,
I've been look. Ever since this podcast started, when there was 5 of us constantly talking over each other instead of me just talking over 2 people.
Wu-Tang style.
Me and L.E. Suggs, Mr. Washington Declassified himself, kept telling y'all we wanted Jacoby Brissett here.
I was on the Brissett train too. It was
You
Brissett.
were on the train too. Now I will say this: you came in probably about a day later than the rest.
Yeah, I
yeah,
wanted Brissett coming straight out of Indianapolis.
Yeah, because we did.
Instead of
you jumped on that one really quick too.
Instead of Fitz Magic, I rather had Brissett.
Me too.
He was just coming off that year where he filled in for Andrew Luck, and he was a very quality starter.
He went 500 with a very average Colts.
Yeah, exactly.
And not only that, but I was like, he was also 2 years younger.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, come on, guys. 3 years younger, actually. I was like, come on, guys. This could be your quarterback for the next 7 years.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't make that move before. I think he is the perfect guy. I know Dev is like, you get Hal, but then you get someone young as well. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Because you still got to play football. You don't want to put a young guy who you expect to be the future and back him up with another young guy. Because that other young guy looks any good in the preseason, people are like, uh-oh, quarterback controversy.
We don't need any of that.
No. We have a clear number 1 and a clear number 2. And our number 2 just happens to be probably, in my opinion, the best backup in the league now. TH fans can sit down.
That's right. Oh, man. You said it, Phil. I got to do it. You said it. Little Heineke juice. At least we weren't talking about the Moxie on this game.
No, we're talking about veteran boys.
Yes.
By both our starting quarterback, who's the young guy, and our veteran second stringer.
Yes.
I'm glad that both quarterbacks look good.
Yeah.
Because it justifies why we have them.
I mean, Jacoby did throw a very ugly interception. I will say that. It was very, very ugly.
I'm going to shoot him bail on that.
Yeah. Are you?
Because it was the right read.
That's true. And
the pressure caused him to back foot that throw, and it hung up a little more than he intended. All right. People are like, oh, he has no arm. Well, you back foot a throw and see how much arm you get on it. Jacoby Brissett's arm is fine. It is a very pro caliber arm. It's not Sam Howell's arm, but it's a very pro caliber arm. You're not going to have to change this offense at all because of his arm strength. It's not like Taylor Heineke.
Yep.
It's not that drastic of a difference. It was just he back-footed the throw. The ball sailed up a little more than he intended and hung up there, and the defender came over. If he gets a chance to step into that throw, it's a touchdown.
Yes. You could tell there was a little bit of footwork issue, and I think that's why it fell about 3 yards short. But let's take a look real quick.
Brissett pressured, looking downfield. That ball's hanging in the air, and Ronnie Hickman with the INT in that play.
Now watch where the receiver is when they get him in camera shot.
You can see looks like the linebackers run a stunt. Or there was a double team on this individual right here, and then he just was able to
left defensive tackle gets in behind the double. They end up double teaming. He gets free. Yeah, he gets a shot at Brissett here.
So he had a free run, but he really couldn't step up. So he was just kind of forced to throw this.
And he had already committed to that throw.
Yeah,
and the guy was still open at this point.
Pressured, looking deep down.
Pause right there.
He had him beat. Had he been able to beat,
he has to come back to that ball. Yeah. You'll notice the guy who's intercepts the pass is catching up, and 28 is turning with the receiver.
Right.
Because the receiver had to slow up. And that was the right read. If he steps up into that throw, it's a touchdown.
I don't know if that was Pringle. I don't know who.
I think it was Pringle. I'm pretty sure it was. That ball. Look how high that ball is. That's not what he wanted to do.
He sailed it, but that's okay. That was the play we were talking about. We're referring to.
If you're gonna miss like that, you miss taking a shot.
Yeah. Hey, you miss every shot you don't take. You makes 100% of all the shots you don't take, right? Before we move on to the defense, there's one other person I want to me stood out on offense, and that was Cole Turner. I feel like he did everything asked of him. He played. I feel like he was tight end one, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 31 yards, along with 13. That's exactly what I want to see from Cole Turner. One, the fact that Sam targeted him, and two, the fact that he hauled in every pass thrown to him. And I feel that a tight end is a young quarterback's best friend. Logan Thomas is nursing a calf injury. He didn't practice again today, so he's been out for a little while. Cole Turner has a very high chance to be tight end one when this season starts, and I'm all for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. If you look, and honestly, it's funny because I always said that. Remember when we signed Logan Thomas? I said, Logan, if you give me 4 catches for 32 yards, I will be every game. I will be happy.
Yeah.
I'll say the same thing about Cole Turner.
Yeah.
Because that is safety valve tight end stuff. Give me 4 catches for 31, 32 yards every game. I'm not going to complain.
Yep. Switching over to the defense now, Phil. The Cleveland offense, I feel, played they kind of took it to our first team defense on the first drive. Deshaun Watson was 3 for 3, 12 yards. I mean, he didn't do anything, but I was expecting a little more pass rush from the first team defense. Didn't really see it. I think they kind of had their way with us on that first drive.
They had our way with us because our guys play aggressively.
Yeah, that happens. As home run hitters.
A lot of their stuff was countering the aggression.
Yeah.
All right. First preseason game, top 3, top 5 defense. You're coming in with all the hype. Okay, good. You got a little of that over exuberance out of your system. And I'd much rather our defense be beat because they're being too aggressive as opposed to too soft and too conservative. No, they were going after guys. I mean, Chase Young blew up an offensive tackle, just can openered him, and then drove right back to the quarterback. He hits Deshaun Watson, but he hits Watson as Watson's starting to take off in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah.
So he actually ends up pushing Watson forward in the process, which sucks. But watch that pass rush and realize Chase Young's back.
Yeah, he looked really good. Like you said, he just missed the sack on Deshaun Watson. Just missed it. But he looked smooth. He did leave the game with the stinger, which is a little concerning, but as long as it doesn't say knee injury, take your time, Chase.
Stingers go away.
That's a glorified Charlie horse. I hope that's
in your
that's
neck. It does hurt like a but it goes away.
Yeah.
You stretch it, you pull your neck and and all that.
Yeah.
And you're all right. It obviously wasn't that bad of a stinger.
Right.
The stingers, if you're a really bad stinger, you go numb for a minute.
Yeah,
like people think you have a broken neck or something.
Yeah,
it can simulate that if it's really bad. I've seen guys get stingers after a couple minutes. Okay, they're up and fine and moving, but those first couple minutes, it's like, something's wrong.
Rough.
That didn't happen to Chase Young. He just came off the field and his neck hurt. All right, stretch it out. Put a little ice on it for a few days. He's fine. He was back to practice. Next practice. They didn't have him on the field. They had him doing individual drills. So obviously he was good enough to do that.
Yeah.
So don't worry, people. Chase Young's back. Chase Young's looking good so far.
Be all right. I didn't hear Fuller's name. See a lot of people talking about Fuller. Where was he? Maybe he's still taking it easy. I know he's still practicing. People were dogging Quan Martin. Not worried about it. I'm not worried about this defense.
Can we talk about Emmanuel Forbes for a second?
Yeah, he looks good, man. He looks the part. And I was a huge skeptic about him being the first overall pick. Still not sure we should have got a cornerback, but man, he looks great.
Remember draft night? I said, as aggressive as he is physically, he reminds me of Darrell Green.
Yeah, that's right.
In that he'll come up and support the run. And where was he on 4th and goal? Supporting the run.
Yep. When we had the goal line stop.
at 170 pounds. I guess I hope he's beefed up to 170 at least.
Yeah.
But he got up in there. He's not afraid to throw his body into people, right?
Yeah.
And when you play fearless, yeah, you're gonna have a few injuries. Guess what? Dale Green missed more than his share of games at times due to injuries. But those injuries came because he was fearless. He was not afraid to put his body on the line to make a play. Guess what? Manuel Forbes, same way.
Yeah.
So if you're an old school fan, you remember Darryl Green playing, and you liked how Darryl Green played, you're gonna like Emmanuel Forbes.
Yep. That's true. Anyone else on the defense stand out to you?
Tez looked good. Like I said, there was a lot of over aggression. Guys were like over pursuing plays at times.
Yeah.
The goal line stand as a whole looked good. I like Cam Curl because Forbes gets that tackle on the goal line because Cam Curl forces the play into him.
It reminded me of a perfect example of when you get frustrated this season and people are just like bendo break. You could have settled for 3 there, but they held it. It was awesome. I still think there were still more offensive standouts from an individual effort perspective than defensive standouts.
Well, that's because they went. That means that's because the rest of the time the Cleveland starters were out there. Our defense stifled them.
Yeah.
After that first drive, they did nothing.
I mean, their quarterbacks were very efficient. They didn't miss many balls for the rest of the game, but it was just a small. It was like a quiet efficiency. You know what I mean? Kellen Mond had a touchdown. What's his name? DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked very good. He was 9 for 10, 102 yards.
Remember, I wanted to draft him too. I wanted him in the 7th round.
He would have been a good developmental pick. I'm with you. That would have been fantastic. But now, other standouts, Chris Rodriguez and what's his name? Kazmir Allen. I think Kazmir Allen, I hope Kazmir Allen replaces Dax Milne, returning.
He better.
Punts and kickoffs. Dax Milne took a punt, and what did he do? Stepped out of bounds.
Everybody went, Jesus, Dax.
You have one job, dude. One job.
A total groan that you could it was all typed out on Twitter, but it was so prominent at the same time, you swear you heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Christian Holmes was my other standout on defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He played very well.
That dude has closing speed. Like he'll let receivers catch the ball a couple yards in front of him, or he'll get in position a couple yards in front of him, and he'll close. He forced an incompletion on one, and on another one, receiver caught the ball. He did the exact same thing. Receiver caught it, went nowhere.
Yeah.
Little hitch by a slot receiver, and he's immediately on it. I like that. I like that he baits receivers into taking the short stuff and then make sure they go nowhere else.
Right.
So Christian Holmes had a really good game too.
That's exactly what you want to see. Fantastic. Well, closing thoughts, Phil. If we're going to talk about a wrap up, in a few sentences, what's your wrap up from the Browns game?
Wrap up is that we should be. This is exactly where we want to be. No reason to be overconfident, but there's reason to be confident. There's reason to have rational optimism that this team is going to be pretty damn good this year.
Yeah.
And if you look at some of the other teams in our division looked, Dallas,
worked.
We have a chance to make some noise if we continue on the trajectory we've seen. We have a chance to make some noise, not in 2024, not in 2025, but in 2023. The chances are looking a little bit better. Join the hope train, people. I'm conducting it, but join it.
Yeah. Same here. Like I said, I was caught in the heat of the moment. I think the next game versus the Ravens will be way more telling because we're going to see a little bit more of the playbook. We're going to see a little bit more of what we can expect from a personnel standpoint. At least we should. And so it's going to be telling, a lot of people criticize the offensive line. Yes, they had a first couple two drives were rough, but they
But if
bounced
you
back
go
on
back
that
and
third
look,
drive.
only one guy had a rough game.
Yeah, Andrew Wiley.
Wiley. Guess who had a perfect game?
Sam Cosmi.
Sam Cosmi. And where's Dev?
Yes, conveniently not here. Conveniently not here to defend, but yes, he played fantastic, and that's good to see. You want to see that. So he's thriving, moving inside the guard. I don't know. Maybe it was it's the same path Brandon Sheriff took. Who knows? I'm not comparing him to Brandon Sheriff by any means, but same very similar story.
He's a lot stronger than Brandon.
Yeah. And if you want to critique the O-line, that's fine. It is a big question mark. Even all the PFF, every analyst, Vegas, they all said, the offensive line is a question because you have 4 new starters. That's okay to question how good the offensive line is going to be. That's fair. But the joint practices starting tomorrow and then Wednesday will be telling. We're going to get reporting out of those practices, and we're going to say, are the Ravens manhandling our offensive line? And then we'll get a better idea. And then nothing replicates game speed, Phil. So the next game versus the Ravens, that's going to be, you're going to see it. Okay. And we'll find out for sure.
By the way,
August 21st.
If you see a report that at some point in 2 days, Sam Howell throws an interception, don't panic.
Yeah. Next Monday night, we'll be watching the Commanders play the Ravens, and then we'll get to see. We'll see Lamar Jackson. Well, maybe Lamar Jackson going against our defense. OBJ. We'll get to see Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins. So we'll get to see it all, and then we'll have a better idea. Once again, it's still preseason. There's no need to say the sky's falling. We'll let that play out naturally. So I will be in attendance at the joint practice on Wednesday. I'm not sure how much coverage I can get, enough to do a vlog, but I definitely will put my thoughts into a quick video to share with you guys of what I saw at the practice on Wednesday, and I'll try to do my best to share that story because I don't know how many people are going to be out there. So hopefully I won't be in a sea of purple, but I probably will be in a sea of purple. So we'll see. All right, Phil, any other closing thoughts, man?
Well, I already give my thoughts on the game, but rest in peace, Magoo.
Yeah, rest in peace, Magoo, man. Like back in the day, Timbaland, Magoo, Missy Elliott
put VA on the map.
You had Virginia just represented to the
right after that came the Neptunes, Flips, like and we were out. We had just gotten outside. Me and this guy over here had just gotten outside when Timbaland, Magoo, and all of them were hitting. So, oh yeah, I still bump "Love to Love You."
Yeah,
hey,
that's a good one.
That track gets me hype.
Magoo just had that a voice. You know what I mean? It was just so.
He didn't have a pen.
No, it was just a unique voice, kind of higher pitch. I can't even mock it.
I see a beetle call out. It's only Ringo.
Yeah, exactly, man. I wish he would have put out more music, but
but he fit Timbo's beats perfectly.
He did. He had the perfect cadence to rhyme on the Timbaland beat. But yeah, so shout out to Magoo, man. Rest in peace. Very, very sad. We will be back probably Thursday for a live stream preview. We'll have to play that one by ear, but I think we'll be regularly scheduled programming unless we decide to move that closer to the Monday night game. We'll keep you guys posted.
We shall see.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted, see how it goes.
Card subject to change.
That's right. All right, Dev, we missed you. We'll catch up with you later. Thank you for tuning in.
One other shout out.
Yes.
Shout out to Method Man.
Oh yeah, Big Meth, the cow.
I got to meet Method Man on Sunday. Dude's cool as hell. There was a lot about. By the way, huge wrestling fan, huge football fan, big Jets fan. And we were in Pittsburgh and he was talking all kinds of smack about the Steelers.
I am shocked he's not a Giants fan. How did he end up
No,
a Jets
it's
fan?
funny. He's not even a Yankees fan. He's a Mets fan.
Good for him. Go against the grain. Usually people
Staten
from
Island, they got the chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, but a lot of the Staten Island guys, they're big Giants fans and they're big Yankees fans. Usually it's the people closer to Jersey who are the Jets fans. So I'm glad to see him being a Jets fan.
But he called it. He said the Jets would get Dalvin Cook. And one day later, the Jets signed Dalvin Cook.
It's not official yet, right? I know it's
No,
in the
it's just I just got a news thing about it
Oh,
earlier.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh man, I knew it was in the works. Man, good for Dalvin Cook, man. Hope we see the rise of the running backs once again. Make running backs great again.
Yes.
Got to do it.
Yes.
And tight ends too while you're at it, because I'm a big tight end fan. All right. As always, you can catch this podcast on any of your audio podcast platforms. Please like and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up. Leave a thumbs down. Tell people how stupid I look in sunglasses. Tell people how great Phil's beard looks and how awesome Dev is. Just do something. Leave an emoji. Leave a poop emoji. Don't care. Any interaction does it for the algorithm. Thank you for tuning in. We love you guys. As always, peace and hail. We out.